Hi there, this is Datila, and welcome to TNAIW GoGo Power Rankings show, sponsored by Rangers of Wrestling. As always, I'm joined by my two wonderful co-hosts. First, to my right, he allegedly has no relation to our Impact World Champion, Steve Macklin. He's the star of the show, the one and only Burt Macklin.
So
yeah. Again,
question.
see, Macklin's not taking my calls right now. I wish he was, but yeah.
Quick question. Because first off, Bert, of course he's not taking your calls. He's too busy fucking being the world champ. He's getting chased by goddamn Frankenstein, bro. Like,
that's true.
What do you say? Come on. Second off, since your family is the world champ, does that make you like the world champ of the show?
I would take that. I'd take that.
Can I challenge you for the belt?
Yeah, that's fine.
Bet.
All right, and to my left, he is the godfather of the Power Rankings, Lucha. Alrighty, so you guys, we are building to Under Siege, and this week's episode was no different. I have to say, a lot happened, so I expect to see Deonna Purrazzo on this week's Power Rankings, as always, because she is the Knockout Champion. I expect to see the Coven. And I'm very curious between Masha Slamovich and Killer Kelly who makes the Power Rankings, or maybe both of them might make the Power Rankings because of the way their match ended. What do you think, Bart?
Well, I expect a really good team to make the Power Rankings. Actually, I want to give that team a hand. So that should kind of, let you know who I'm talking about. I expect them to make the top. I'm not going to reveal it yet, but that's who I expect.
You, Lucha?
I'm really just sticking into my my thing from last week where I want to see how the main event is going to affect the top of the power rankings. Like there's a good little log jam going on. I want to see how much love the Coven got. You know what I'm saying?
I hope they get a lot. And this is coming from someone who's not the biggest fan of it. I hope they get a lot of love.
But are they number one?
That's tough.
I guess you have to wait and see. Alrighty. Well, with that being said, let's get into these Power Rankings. Number 10, Kenny King King. Number 9, tied X Division Champion Trey Miguel and Digital Media Champion Joe Hendry. Number 8, Moose Myers and the Good Hands. Number 7, Tag Team Champions Bullet Club. Number 6, tied Masha Slamovich and Nick Aldis. Number 5, Trinity. Number 4, the Juggernaut Jordan Grace. Number 3, Tag Team Champions The Coven. Number 2, Knockouts Champion Deonna Purrazzo. Number 1, World Champion Steve Macklin. Wow, this is interesting. Okay, this is quite the list here. Let's start with number 3 and number 2. Number 3 being the Knockouts Tag Team Champions The Coven, and number 2 being Deonna Purrazzo. So, why do you guys think she's number 2 and the Coven is number 3 when the Coven won that match? Oh, actually, you know what? Let's add number 4 in there, the Juggernaut Jordan Grace as well. Okay. So 2, 3, and 4. So why do you guys think these people landed in their spots? I mean, I know the Coven obviously won. They pinned Jordan Grace.
Exactly.
And is that why you think she's number 4?
No, yeah, because 3 pinned 4, 3 didn't pin 2. Sure. And at the end of the day, Deonna Purrazzo is the world champion. The best champion.
Yeah.
My favorite champion. I didn't say anything, Deonna. I didn't mean anything that I said. I wasn't saying you should have been number 1. But yet, no, she didn't take the L. Jordan took the L. And again, though, Jordan is number 4, and that's no slight to her. That's just how over she is. I don't think I've ever, again, Lucha's the historian of the countdown. I don't remember anybody losing and being that high. She's number 4 and she lost. That's insane. And I don't mean insane being disrespectful. I mean, That's how over she is and how great she is. She's number 4 and she technically lost. So that's incredible. She continues just to be neck and neck with Jordan. Like there's no, I mean, it's neck and neck with Deanna. There's no, I don't look at them. One might be champion, but it's not. Jordan could be champion. She will be champion again. You know, so and as far as the Coven being number 3, they deserve to be number 3. They did get the win in the main event, and we all know that carries weight in this countdown.
That's true. It does. It does a lot. There's so many times where people make the number 1 spot because they've been main event. Lucha, what are your thoughts?
All right, I gotta be careful on like how far I go, because like in this one opening segment, I could cover my like how half of this fucking countdown is molded together. Because like, you know, like Burt said, he hit most of the nails on the head. The Coven pinned Jordan, so they should get reps based off the fact that they won. Deanna didn't eat a pin, so she shouldn't be penalized in any way, shape, or form. But not to go forward, that's because that's the only reason why I honestly would have had thoughts to put the Coven at 2, with Deanna being at 1. But you gotta look at the fact that Steve Macklin defended the title successfully. So I mean, that just kind of bumps him down just a tad. It's crazy Jordan's at 4. It's even crazier that the lady who helped her at the end, basically from a beatdown, is right behind her. And it is even crazier that both of them are in front of someone who got a pin on the opening match. So it's a lot of parts that connect.
Yeah, that is true. I do agree. It's like all these numbers, they're tied together. And as far as the Coven being ahead of Jordan, you know, Jordan was the one that got pinned, and like you said, that Deanna shouldn't have gotten penalized for that. So she's number 2, only for the simple fact that Steve Macklin defended his title, and she was challenging for the Knockouts title.
Okay. A question I have is about the tie we have at number 6 between Masha Slamovich and Nick Aldis. Now, we got to give it to somebody, right? Like, do we continue to allow ties to just be, you know, the thing? Or, like, let's leave it in your hands, because you're not an active member of the committee. You know, you're an impartial party. Who are you putting at number 6?
At
Masha
number 6?
or Nick Aldis?
Ooh, this is a tough one. This is a real tough one, because technically Masha did win her match, and she was the opening match. It was a really great match. However, and I think the only reason why I would choose Nick Aldis over Masha at the number 6 spot is Killer Kelly refused to let go of that camel clutch, and Masha Slamovich was not able to stand up after that match. And Nick Aldis was victorious, and he, you know, stood on his own 2 feet, while Masha, on the other hand, you know, got taken out by Killer Kelly. Yes, Burt?
I have a question.
Okay.
Do you even know the name of the person that Nick Aldis beat? Because I'm not saying in disrespect, but Masha just beat Killer Kelly, a name, and Nick Aldis had an enhancement match. I'm not the impartial judge, but I think that answers the question right there. Who should be number 6?
Actually, he beat Shelton Jean, who broke Joe Henry's nose.
Oh, okay.
That's why Kenny King was on commentary.
What a star, by the way. I like how the king of the night.
He was such a star that, you know, his role on commentary got him at number 10.
Yeah, he was at number 10 because of that.
What a star.
That's how big of a star he is. He's at number 10 because of that.
Your future digital media champion, by the way.
Once Joe Henry gets back from that broken nose.
Broken nose, you mean? No, he's too busy playing detective work trying to figure out who jumped Santino.
Speaking of which, at number 9, we are tied. Once again, Trey Miguel at number 9. He's tied with Joe Hendry. Why do you guys think that is?
Because people don't respect Trey Miguel, and it's disgusting. It's blasphemous. I'm running out of words. You know, I only named 2, but I don't understand. Trey Miguel should be top 5 every week. 5 time. He should be top 5 every week. Top 5. Top 5. Top 5. Top 5.
Well, in order to be top 5, you got to constantly be, in the committee's eye, and it just seems like he's just not. He's fallen out of the eye of the committee for some odd reason. Maybe it's the lack of matches post Rebellion or post Impact after Rebellion. I don't believe he's had that many. It's only been maybe one, so he's just kind of existing as the ex-champ, which is fine. And honestly, the run he had beforehand is why he should at least be chilling top 5 every week, just like Jordan Grace. Jordan Grace takes L's in the main event and still top 5. But Trey Miguel's just, still being a champ, getting ready for a title defense. And it seems he's getting penalized more than people who are actually losing. So I don't get it. I had him top 5 myself because I subscribe to the Burt Macklin magazine of Trey Miguel needs to be top 5 every week. So
I like that magazine. It's a really good magazine. People should read it.
I would hope. I think he's going to be. If I'm not misremembering, I think he has a match with the Laredo Kid next week. So I would presume that he would be, because again, that's going to be an instant classic. Laredo Kid always puts on a good match. Trey Miguel's a star, so I would hope that Trey Miguel would earn some points for him in the committee's eyes next week.
But here's the question, though: would Trey Miguel take it? Go into the match with something to prove, because it's kind of a non-title match. Maybe he's on that Steve Macklin type time where it's non-title. Why am I gonna sit here and risk further injury by going too hard? So maybe he calls it in. I've never known Trey Miguel to call it, to like phone it in. You know what I'm saying? But like at the same time, it's a non-title. And he's already got an opponent set up at Under Siege. What are you gonna do? Make it a triple threat? That's not fair.
It's just a little tune-up match for him. He's gonna go out there and maybe give it like 60-70%. Not going to break a sweat. He'll be fine.
Look, you in the ring with Laredo Kid, there's no such thing as not breaking a sweat.
I'm just saying, he's going to give you just enough to make top 3 next week.
I don't know, maybe he goes in with a chip on his shoulder. He's wanting top 5. Maybe he also subscribes to the Burt Macklin mag, and he's like, you know what? Let me go out here and show the committee. You know what I'm saying? Just who the hell I am.
I like that.
Yeah, because those Melvins keep voting him at number 9.
Blatant disrespect.
Exactly. Let's talk about number 8, because this is an interesting one. Moose, Myers, and the Good Hands. So the Good Hands getting a big victory over DK with assistance, I should say, of Brian Myers. And yet they grouped Moose with them, even though Moose wasn't out there. He just appeared in a backstage segment with Brian Myers. So thoughts on the Good Hands, Brian Myers, and Moose all being number 8. Burt or Lucha, whoever wants to start.
Can I take this one, because this is my favorite number on the show. Myers, the Good Hands, my new favorite team. Myers he's like a great college scout, like a Nick Saban. You know what I mean? He's got an eye for talent. You know what I mean? He sees these 2 blue chippers, Hotch and Skyler, and he's like, I'm gonna bring them under the learning tree. And we always say as well, because we named 4 names, they know how it is in this countdown. It's all about factions. You got 4 people. You got Moose, Myers, and the Good Hands. That's money to me. I like what's going on here. You know what I mean? And again, Brian Myers knows what he's doing. He's you heard what he said. He didn't become the most professional wrestler overnight. He wasn't always the most professional wrestler. You know what I'm saying? So he's going to teach these guys how to be a professional wrestler. I like this spot.
Lucha?
You know, I'm kind of on the opposite side on this one because I'm like, I don't even think this faction knows they're a faction. So for them to be together is a little off-putting to me. I mean, I know Myers and the Good Hands know that they're together. It's Moose that's the controversy. So I'm kind of on some Moose shouldn't be here type of time, just because it's either because, and I hate to say this about Big Bro, but like, it's from how it looks now, it's kind of like he's hanging on by their coattails, you know what I'm saying? Just linking on to the fact that his homies won, but they're not necessarily your homies. So does that make all of y'all homies?
Well, for the first,
I feel like this is an unfair taking advantage of the faction system, you know, which is some heel shit, but because this isn't what Time Machine laid out when they decided that they were gonna click up and take over the Power Rankings. This isn't what Bullet Club designed when they decided they were gonna click up and take over Power Rankings. They're poisoning the integrity of the clicks in Power Rankings, in my opinion.
well, the way I look at it is that Moose and Myers have been teaming, and Myers went out on his own and is trying to recruit. And maybe Moose isn't okay with that, but from the time being, Moose and Myers are still a team. So that's the way I look at it. I think they got to go back to the locker room and they got to have a talk.
I don't know. I think the committee needs to have like an executive meeting and like iron out factions, and you know what I'm saying, and how this is gonna work. And then also Moose needs to figure out if he's in or out on this group. Because if he's out, then you know you gotta do something to get in this top 10, bro.
I that's fair. There will be a meeting.
We need to have a meeting the way these Melvins rank.
The controversy is like, I swear you hate the committee more than college football fans hated the BCS system.
Wait, you know what I need to buy? I need to buy one of those little hammers that judges use and be like, that fight them.
A gavel?
Yeah, a gavel. There you go. All right. So since you mentioned Bullet Club, let's talk about them next. At number 7, the Bullet Club ABC, which we didn't talk about them last week. I totally realized that they weren't even on last week's Power Rankings. We didn't even bring that up. So let's bring that up here. Why do you think they weren't on last week and they made it this week? Lucha, Burt, whoever.
Where'd you go?
Well, as far as them being on this week, that solely is credited to Ace Austin getting the dub on BTI that he got. And then I believe next week he's fighting number 8 ranked Jason Hodge. So we got some power ranking warfare next week. That might be the power rank. That might be a new thing we do, the power rankings match of the week. You know what I'm saying? Because there always seems to be one of these matches that have like heavy power ranking implications. So,
and Myers did say that he's gonna get them to be tag team champions. So obviously that could be something we see. And as far as Bullet Club being number 7, they are champions, and they have defended the belt, whether it's inside or outside Impact. Outside really doesn't matter in terms of the power rankings, but they have had a few matches, more than most. And I think that, again, you saw a tag match on the show. Again, I think they're on the rankings purely because the men's tag division is hot right now. So them being number 7, I just think that's because there's a lot of juice in that division. So, and they are the champs, so that gets them a bonus.
No, yeah, I agree. Definitely. They are champs.
all right, I just thought of something. Because we kind of like brushed over Trinity because of the clusterfuck that was the main event. How that kind of fucked up the committee a little bit. There were too many moving numbers involved. So with Trinity, it's how do y'all feel about the fact that she got so high not being physical, but then she comes out and she gets physical? She doesn't necessarily have a match or whatever, but she gets physical and she drops 3 spots.
Let's get physical. Physical.
Great song. What I was going to say is I look at it kind of the other way, that I think she was so high last week because of a combination of it being an off week and then the week was built around her. And then this week, I think that the countdown was so strong, her getting physical got her to the spot that she was in, because we saw what she could do. Well, if you want to say, if you're just tuning in Impact for the first time and you don't know who Trinity is, you saw her work for the first time. You know what I mean? So I think that's why she is so high this week. I don't necessarily look at it as a drop, but you're right, she did drop. I can't explain why she dropped, but I do think that she's where she's at because she got, we saw her work for the first time in Impact briefly.
Now, Datila, question for you. Different question. Considering how the show ended, Jordynne Grace eats the pin. She loses. She gets attacked. Trinity comes and saves her. How do you feel about her being? How do you feel about Trinity being over Jordynne, considering all those facts?
Oh, wow. How do I feel about Trinity being over Jordynne?
Well, Jordynne being over Trinity.
Or Jordynne being over Trinity?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's like how Burt said earlier, Jordynne Grace is just over, and she is the number one contender for the Knockouts title at Under Siege. And yes, she lost the match for her team, and because she's the one that took the pin, but, that is an interesting fact that she is at number 4. But I do think it's justified just given the longevity that Jordynne has been there, and this is only Trinity's second week in Impact. Next week when she does have the match, it's going to be very curious to see where she does land.
That was some damning questions there.
Yeah, definitely.
It again is a testament to how crazy that main event was, because it had so many power ranking implications.
Yeah, definitely did. Definitely.
And also, before we move on to like another topic, quick question: how do we feel about the world champion who defended his title successfully? Yes, but not in the main event. Him kind of jumping over that entire mess that was the main event and still getting number 1. You think it was just because of that simple fact that there was just so much calamity going on within the main event tag title match that Steve Maclin's win was just able to just skip right by it scot-free?
I think there's more to it than that. We'll talk about it when we talk about it more.
See, we leave you on that little cliffhanger. You know what I'm saying?
Touche. Before we get into our number 1 pick, let's talk about the almost made it. So, Burt, who almost made this week's power rankings?
Well, separated by 1 point each, PCO and Kazarian. If you want to stick 11 and 12, and you could argue PCO, he jumped out of an ambulance. You know what I mean? That was a pretty gnarly brawl. And then Kazarian, I thought this was the best of this 5-part series so far, just because him talking about how he basically bleeds Impact. You know what I mean? And again, he is an Impact lifer. I think him coming back, that made me smile. That resonated with me because when I first started watching Impact, he was even there before I even started watching. But when I started watching Impact, he was there. So he sticks out to me as somebody who is an Impact guy. So, I think there's a chance he will make the top 10 next week.
I kind of feel like the committee finally got tired of the talking, even though it awarded Kenny King for talking as well. The talking was at the end point, at the tail end of the power rankings, with Kenny being 10 and was Frankie 12.
PCO 11, Frankie 12.
Yeah, so I think the committee's starting to get over the yip yapping and jaw jacking.
And to add to it, yes, Kenny talked, but he was doing commentary while with Frankie Kazarian. It was just it was like a sit down interview.
Well, and that's but yeah, that again, Kenny King it was almost like he was in the match. You know what I mean? I was focused on Kenny King during that match. He's the king of the night. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
You know who I'm surprised is not on this week's Power Rankings? I mean, homie got a big win over the Swing Man, Dirty Dango. Nobody voted for Dirty Dango, and he beat Johnny Swinger. And my question is, will poor Johnny Swinger ever get to 50 wins?
Well, again, I think he's got age on his side. He's only 27. You know what I mean? He will get his 50th win eventually.
He's 27 and a half. First
okay.
off. And second of all, here's another interesting stat before we move on here. Tied at 13 with 10 points each was Swinger, Rhino, and Killer Kelly.
Oh, wow. That is an interesting fact. And I thought he was 27 and 3/4.
I don't know. I stopped counting after his 18th birthday.
If I remember right, I think Rhino's 10 points was purely from a first place vote, which was a little shocking to me. And we'll tie it. What?
Same with Swinger, right?
I believe so. Yes.
All right. So, with all that being said, let's move on. Our number one ranker, number one in this week's Power Rankings. If you guys haven't figured it out, is none other than our Impact World Champion, Steve Maclin. Steve Maclin defeating Rhino and successfully retaining his Impact World title. And this was, I don't know if anybody like caught this or something, but I absolutely love the fact that Steve Maclin beat Rhino with the gore. To add insult to injury, not only did Steve Maclin beat him, but he beat him with his own finisher, the gore. I thought that was as insult to injury as you can get. And I think the reason why Steve Maclin made it to number one was not only that he successfully defended the title, but the segment that followed, I mean, he wasn't done with Rhino. If it wasn't for PCO, he probably would have beat the crap out of Rhino in that ambulance. So that's what I think he made that number one spot, but that's just me. Burt, I know this is allegedly, not your relative.
You kind of said everything I was going to say, but I'll just kind of like further. Yeah, like he took his move. You know what I mean? He pinned him with it. You know what I mean? I don't think there's anything more like disrespectful than that. You know what I mean? Than taking someone. And then he did everything but bury him because, he brought out the shovel and basically like, you remember in the old video game, in the old WWE game where they would show the body and they would show you if one part was really red? That thing was like beyond red. You know what I mean? Like he was just beating the shit out of him. You know what I mean? And again, if it wasn't for PCO, who knows what would have happened around. So Lucha brought it up earlier. Like, I think it was because of how decisive this win was, and he is the world champion. That's why he's number one, because he wasn't in the main event. I think this was like not the opening match, but did it kick off the second hour or did it end the first hour?
It was somewhere around that point.
So, like, it wasn't even like the main focus of the show. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even remember why Rhino even got the match, and I watch every week. So, but Rhino is a former, world champion in Impact. So, you don't really need a build other than that. But yeah, that win was pretty freaking decisive. So that's why I think he's number one, with him being world champion.
Yeah, I mean, it was basically kind of what Burt said. It wasn't necessarily about who he beat, with it being Rhino, even though Rhino's a fucking man. Like, that's just how it is at the end of the day. But it wasn't necessarily about him beating Rhino, and more so the statement he made on how he beat Rhino. That's some evil shit. That's some. It's honestly pretty gangster of you to beat a dude with his move, like, and especially if that like becomes his thing for a while and he's just the finisher stealer. Like, that's some some heavy power ranking statement type shit right there. So I respect the gangster, and I think that gangster was strong enough to get him to slide him over the calamity that was the Coven, Deonna Purrazzo, Jordan Grace, and Trinity.
To add real quick, I think this more so than when he won the world title is them establishing Macklin as a badass since he's been, you know what I mean? Like he went and essentially whooped Rhino's ass. So you know what I mean? So like I think that like this is kind of like how they're gonna start building him up even more, like just having him go out and destroy people. Not like one-sided matches, but almost like after the match, like he's, you know what I mean? He's gonna send people out on stretchers.
Ouch. All right, so I guess that's it for this week's Power Rankings. Seems like we covered everything. Lucha or Burt?
Watch Impact. As always, watch our show. Like and subscribe.
You need to be watching Impact. Lucha, before a word from our sponsors.
You know what? I'm actually, before we go to a word from our sponsors, I'm gonna steal the gimmick here. If you guys want to join the Power Ranking Committee, you see the words up top now. DM Burt Macklin put out the Burt signal. It's working. The Burt signal works.
Oh, it's finally up and running. The Burt signal.
It's fly as fuck. So yeah, just when you look out for the Burt signal, you see it, hit them with the DM, be like, yeah, I want to join the committee. Burt will get you in, put you through the strenuous screening process that needs to get more strenuous with newer members, you know what I'm saying, going forward, Mr. Macklin, sir. Let's see.
Or you can say his name and he appears.
I believe in Burt Macklin.
That's good. I like that.
Shut the fuck up, Siri. Also, you guys make sure you keep up with TNA 2K Wednesdays. We got a new episode dropping this week. Let me pull up the bracket real quick. Just to let you guys know what we got going on next week. And what happened this past week, actually. In the opening round matchups, we had Christian Cage versus Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett actually took the win in that one. Bobby Roode defeated R-Truth. Jeff Hardy defeated Austin Aries, and Bobby Lashley defeated Eddie Edwards. So they all move on to the second round of the Ryder Cup. And we have Josh Alexander facing the winner of a play-in game, Sting versus the winner of a play-in game, Kurt Angle versus the winner of a play-in game, and AJ Styles versus the winner of a play-in game. So it's getting thick already.
I'm saying Jeff Jarrett's going to win the whole thing. I recently became a fan, so I think Jeff's winning the whole thing.
You know what? You know what? I'm with you. I got you.
That's excellent. That was on par with Jeff's.
Choke on that, slap nuts.
That was good.
That was awesome. I really like that. And I hope you guys all enjoyed Lucha's rendition of the strut. Alrighty. Well, Lucha, thank you so much for all of those plugs. But with that being said, you guys, thank you guys as always so much for watching. It means the world to us that you guys continue to watch us consistently week after week. And
it does.
Yes, it does. We wouldn't be here without you guys and without Jeff. So. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever this video drops. And also, feel free to check out TNAIW, just all the amazing stuff that Lucha plugged. And, also make sure you check out Rangers of Wrestling. And because you need to know where the Power Rankings land, whether it be on TNAIW or whether it be on Rangers of Wrestling. Show love to both channels. And with that being said, we'll see you guys next week. Bye.